Hey, Merry Christmas, everybody. If you're watching this video, you're on the receiving end of my FatWood fire starter that I made. And there's a little backstory to this, of course, and it goes like this. We went to a big art festival, and as my wife was looking over jewelry and paintings and crafts, a tent display caught my eye, and it was this kind of manly camouflage display, and a guy was starting fires and actually using materials that were floating in water. So I went over and was curious, and so the guy explained to me, he's like, hey, this is natural FatWood, and he created these fire starters and showed me that, you know, even with wet material you can get a fire going very easily. And of course I was intrigued by it, and I ended up buying one of his fire starters. But when I got home, I did a couple of YouTube searches, and oops, there's the wild wolf. Found videos on how to find your own FatWood in the wild. So I went on a search around my house and in some parks, and ultimately found FatWood, and got some fires going really easy with it, and thought it was fun. So I decided to make a few fire starters, copied this guy's idea, and found, harvested, and carved these fire starters as presents for people, with the idea that you might have fun with it, and also maybe go out and figure out how you might be able to find it in the wild too. Side note, you can buy FatWood at Walmart, like a 10-pound box for $7.99. So it's not that rare or unique. I just thought it'd be cool if you or I had the knowledge of finding this stuff on your own. Perhaps in a survival situation, or just kind of educational and for fun. So anyway, what I'll do is I'll link a couple videos to this, and kind of show you where I found this stuff and how you might be able to find some. Okay? Enjoy. Merry Christmas. Hey, we all know starting a fire can be difficult, particularly if you don't have any matches or a lighter, okay, or dry material.
It's freaking hard. And originally I thought it would be a good idea, but the more I think about it, the less I want to bet another night's sleep on it.
It's freaking brutal. I'm so exhausted.
But with a few of these tips, you'll be able to survive out in the wild.
Yeah! Look what I have created! I have made fire! I have made fire!
Okay, here's a demonstration of how you're going to use your scraper and your sample piece of FatWood. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to try to scrape off some shavings with the scraper, maybe about the size of a quarter. You want to make a pile, about that size. It's not too hard, a little bit of pressure. Keeps turning, and what you're going to do is you're going to start to smell, a turpentine smell, because you're kind of getting down into the dry surface of the wood, and you're hitting, all that resin, right? You don't need a lot. I mean, that's enough to start a fire right there, but for demonstration purposes, I want to, get enough so you can see how this stuff really ignites quickly and gives you plenty of time to get some other kindling lit. Preferably, you might split up this piece of sample firewood or FatWood into little splinters, and you'll have a rip-roaring fire going in just a couple seconds. So, okay, so I got enough to get going. So there's my lighting material. So I'm just gonna scoot this together and make, my target pile. Okay. All right. So now you're gonna switch your scraper to your ferrule rod. And when you're trying to create a flame with this, it's better to go slow and apply a lot of pressure as opposed to just flicking it fast, right? So if you do it fast, you're going to get some light sparks that aren't really sizzling. If you do it slower with pressure, you're going to rip off a piece of metal that's going to sizzle and stay lit. Okay, so those are the strikes you want to hit your pile. Now this is going to start up with the first spark I can hit like that in the pile. It's going to work. Now I might not hit the pile. That's the problem, or I might hit my hand on the pile. So you want to kind of do it, a lot of pressure, slower, and you want that sizzle to hit the middle of your pile. One hit, yeah. And you can see that stuff is extremely flammable. And remember, that was just a couple, that was just a small pile. So that'll give you plenty of time to get maybe some splinters of other FatWood lit or some of your kindling, and you're in business. Have fun. Okay, here's a clip of me revisiting a old rotten log that I had found in the woods at Stone Mountain, which I harvested a bunch of FatWood from. But this will give you an idea of what you might want to look for if you're searching for it on your own. The most important thing is it's got to be a pine, and you can usually tell by the bark that's still left on the tree. And I found that if it's lying on the ground and it's kind of disintegrating, but you have the branches or the stumps of the branches sticking out, that's a good sign. And even if it's an old tree and you don't see any branches sticking out, if you look real closely, you can find where an old branch was, and you can kind of make a cut into the log there, and that's you'll hit some FatWood. So okay, here it is. I found it. Okay, check it out. We've been here before. You can see we made some cuts in this thing, all right? And it's rotten. Oops, thought I heard somebody else. And we're in kind of a clearing, and those are pine trees, but then there's a leafy tree here. There's leafy trees above us, but there are some pines around, and I don't know what made us knock on this other than we could see things sticking up out of this log. And you'll see this has been dead for a long time, and what we're looking for is those knobs sticking out. See down there? Now why is this whole tree rotten in the ground, but those things are still sticking up? Those are filled with FatWood, and what we've discovered is this whole tree is filled with what's left of this tree. That's all good FatWood. You can't really see here because it's really wet from the rain last night, but this is a good one. See the purple in the middle there? That's where we made a cut before, and that is not, it should just look tan. That's solid FatWood right there. All I have is a handsaw right now, but I'm gonna make a cut in some of these notches up here, and then I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, let's check that out. So yeah, that's pretty good. Down a little bit lower, it's going to be filled more, but yeah, that's pretty good. So if you chopped off some pieces of that, even though this is all soaking wet, you got a fire going right now. All right, so I'm going to take a couple more samples. Let me cut this a little further down. That's the end of the Christmas FatWood story. Hope you enjoy and have a happy holiday.